Hello everyone, and welcome back to Bandai Product and Figure Review, your one-stop for everything anime and model related. Again, I apologize for the late posting of this. Easter was this weekend, so I kinda took a little bit more leeway time to relax with family. So here's this video, and keeping up with the 30th anniversary of Gundam Wing, we have two more awesome action figures from the Gundam Universe line, and these are none other than number 13 Gundam Sandrock and number 15 Gundam Heavyarms. And as we can see, these are some of the more iconic robots from Gundam Wing, especially with the heavy arms. I've seen so many customs with this. So we're going to be looking at these two wonderful kits, and these came out about mid-tier of the release of the Gundam Universe action figure line. So let's break these bad boys up and take a look at what all comes with these wonderful figurines. And so these are the Gundam Sandrock number 13 and Gundam Heavyarms number 15 from the Gundam Universe action figure line. And as we can see, the art depiction on these are phenomenal. And we can even see a nice little window view of each one of these wonderful figures. And on the back, it does give us a little bit of posability of how the figures are actually going to be, and how a lot of the weapon gimmicks and stuff. And we can actually see on here, it does give us a little bit of lore. You can actually pause this and you can actually read those for yourself, but we're here to actually take a look at these. So let's take a look at number 13, at everything that comes with this, and move on to number 15. So overall, it does look really nice. So let's start unboxing this. We can just open this up right here, and I do love how they have a little extra when you open the flap on these. So this is already looking really nice. Packaging wise, it's about what I would expect. We see all of the weapons laid out really nice, the hands, the peg to put it on the stand, the weapons, and the shield. So let's actually put everything together and take a look at the overall articulation and quality. Alrighty, and there we have the Gundam Sandrock, and overall it actually does feel really nice. The coloration is phenomenal. It does not let down. Again, these are only $25 for these action figures. So quality wise, yeah, you're getting about what you pay for with these. So let's go over articulation, starting with the head. The head actually does do a nice rotation back and forth. The detail on it is really nice. It has the green sensor right in here, and the coloration with the red and white for the chin, and a bunch of other features, especially the eyes. You can actually kind of see that they actually do detail with the eyes, and overall it's looking really nice. The head doesn't rotate as much as I would like, but it doesn't do like a whole 360 like some of the other ones. It's just how this extra armor is kind of preventing it for on the sides here. Moving on to the shoulders, it does move fairly well. You could do a whole 360 if you needed. And for the armor itself, it does move up and down fairly nicely for both sides. Again, same with the arms, they're all about the same. For the elbows, they actually do move fairly well. They do have very good articulation, you can see on here. And it's about the same on that other side. And yeah, overall, it's looking really nice. The waist, unfortunately, it doesn't tend to move as much. It does move a little bit forward and back, but not really much. Now moving to the shoulder. Now moving on to the waist armor. We have parts that do move. So we have two parts here for the side, and the front armor, it's a little on the sticky side, but it can move forward. Not by a lot, but just enough where it could help out with clearing the legs, and it can rotate a little bit out too to give you a little bit more gap space especially when you are moving the legs. Now, speaking of legs, the legs do move fairly well in both directions. So the only issue is going back. We have this huge armor piece right here that's kind of preventing us from going any further than that. But forward wise, we got a pretty good L shape here for articulation wise. So you can do a fairly cool jumping pose if you really wanted to, just like that. Or it could be like woo jumping. And so yeah, that works really well for that articulation. The feet also articulate really well. Moves nice and side to side, so giving you a nice little balance here and there. So that does really nice. Now let's move on to its weapons and its shield. The shield is actually really well detailed, as we can see here. It is very pokey, so do be very careful. And the blades themselves, oh, they are a nice silver looking color. And this is actually really nice. I just love how the shape and color is. And there's actually a really cool feature with these, and it actually deals with the backpack. So let's just slide these bad boys off, and we can actually attach these to the backpack. So just to make it easier for me, I'm just going to take the backpack off, and there's these little nubs right here, and we have our little peg here. Whoop. So what we can actually do is we can actually store them just by sliding these into here, and we can actually put it back on, and there we have it. We actually have them in a stored position. So if he needs to, you know, go into battle mode, they can just kind of do a cool little pose like that where you're coming back to grab it. So that gives you a lot of play with this particular one. So overall, yeah, this is really nice. It's fairly solid, and I do like the color and the playability with this. So now let's move on to the Gundam Heavyarms. Now we have the Gundam Heavyarms Gundam, and this is already looking really nice with its cool blaster. And again, it does give us a lot of really cool, fun gimmicks for its play. So let's actually break this bad boy open and put it all together to see what all comes with this. But before we actually put this together, let's take a look and just kind of look overview for everything that actually comes in here. Since we have the plastic off, it should be a little bit easier to see. We have the Gundam itself for the heavy arms, and it does look like a really nice molding, and it does look like it is fairly solid. It does come with its large it does come with its large cannon, so that's going to be really cool to put this on. And it comes with two different hands, as well as I believe its shield is actually right here. So this is going to be a really interesting one because it doesn't have a lot of it has a lot of hidden gimmicks actually. So let's actually put this bad boy together and take a look at how it all goes together. And there we have it. We have the Heavyarms Gundam fully assembled, and it is looking very, very solid. It's not letting me down. So let's go over the general articulation. Then again, they're going to be mostly all the same. So we're going to probably go more into detail wise. So again, we have the head. It does rotate really nicely, and we can actually see they have a lot of really nice detail with the sensor antennas on the head, as well as the little iconic little black little marks to showcase the grill for the face. And it does actually have those really cool green little eyes, and the sensor itself is actually really, really nice. It has a nice little green sensor on here. Articulation wise, the arms do move forward and back fairly well, forward and back. So again, chest unit doesn't rotate as much as what I would like. For the side armors, they do move up and down a little bit, as we can see here. And for the legs, it does have a fairly good, roughly articulation about like there. So it kind of gives us a little bit of play. Again, this side armor tends to block a backwards motion. Overall, it's actually really well done. The backpack is also really nicely designed, and it does give us quite a few options to put our weapons on the backpack. We'll look at that later. But now, speaking of weapons, so let's actually talk about the elephant in the room here, and this is its really big cannon here. This is actually really cool. And this actually has a peg on the inside, so you would actually have to take one of these hands off completely for you to be able to have this hold its weapon. But it does really, really nicely. And another kind of cool thing is the shield can actually come off, so you can actually put this somewhere else for like storage. And it does have a really cool gimmick where right here we can actually have this come out, and we can actually hold it, and it can go into like a really cool blaster mode, going boom 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 boom, kind of like in the show, like pew pew pew. So you can actually hold it and do like a really cool dynamic pose. But there's more cool features to this figure, and I don't really see it much in some of the newer ones for its playability, and that this actually has a lot of really cool open hatches. So if we actually open these up, we actually can see there's a bunch of little rockets, and we can also open up its chest to show more miniguns inside, as well as on the legs where we have more rocket pods right here. So this is giving us a really good understanding of why this is called the Heavyarms Gundam, especially with all of the firepower that this thing has to offer. And yeah, overall the play on this is really nice, and it also still has this really cool blade feature that can come out just like that. It does seem like it would get kind of in the way that way, so I'm not sure if they designed it deliberately that way, or for it to be more like a stabbing when it's deployed like this, because it's usually like there, so you could just go like but overall that's really good play, and it gives it a nice little well-rounded with that little blade there. But overall, the Heavyarms Gundam is actually really solid, and I actually do have a plastic model of this. The only thing I wish they would do is make another version of it from the Endless Waltz, where it has like a double machine gun. Yeah, that would actually be really cool. But overall, this is looking really cool, and I highly recommend getting this particular one. Alright everyone, that's going to conclude this episode for the unboxing of the Gundam Sandrock, and as well as the Gundam Heavyarms. These were really phenomenal action figures. These were a lot of really cool, especially Heavyarms. I just love all of the cool features that it actually has, especially with all of the playability with all of those cannons and rocket pods that just open up. So that just makes this so cool, and I can't wait to actually build this particular one. Overall, it is phenomenal for these little lines, and yeah, I highly recommend getting these. So if you guys have any future suggestions, please leave those down in the comment section down below. I also have a Discord, so the link is in the description as well. And we still have one more video featuring Gundam Universe, and so we're going to be doing a kind of a mix between good guy and bad guy comparison video, since we have one more bad guy unit, and I will leave that as a surprise. So for all those who have already watched my videos, you already know which one I probably have left. So, well, I will see you guys in the next episode, and keep building.